We will be talking to our resident doctor on the ABS. He's a pediatric neurosurgeon. That word is always a tricky one. There's a pediatric. Doctor. But right now we're going into our big conversation this morning. With Madame Ursula Owusu-Ekuful. She is the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, and also the Member of Parliament for Ablekuma West. You're welcome to the Asaase Breakfast Show.
Thank you, Xtra.
You know, we're always happy when you're here because you're a very busy person. And so when you make time, we can't help but be happy.
I love you guys, so I have to make time for
you. Hey.
And your listeners as well.
And I should have worn the Christmas suit, Momo.
You should have,
Yeah.
You know? But it's still good.
It is.
Good.
You know, over the years, I've had the opportunity to interview you and to talk to you about some of the things that you're passionate about. And one of the things that I have found quite remarkable is your desire to see the girl child uplifted, upskilled, and giving an opportunity to stand shoulder to shoulder with anyone around the world in the world of technology. How's that going? Because the Miss Geek was launched a couple of days ago.
Good morning to your listeners, and thanks for the opportunity to have a chat with you again. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thanks.
Women, girls empowerment has been a lifelong passion of mine. Wherever I've been, I've sought to use whatever position, opportunities I have to push those frontiers back a little further. And so when I found myself in the ministry, I looked at what we could do to narrow the gender digital divide. And there is a digital divide, which has the face of a woman. There are fewer women in this technology space than men. But in all my conversations, the one thing that was glaring is that there's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. So if given the opportunity, the girl child can also compete quite favorably with her male counterparts. And so we said, why not? And then we chanced upon this Geek competition that Rwanda had started, and we wanted to emulate it here. So in 2019, Honorable George Anda was my deputy then, so he actually led the planning and the preparation for Ms. Geek. We got in touch with them in Rwanda. They sent people here to help us, and we put out the notice that girls aged between 13 to 21 who had any idea using technology to solve contemporary challenges around us should put it in, try their hands at it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And we were surprised at the interest that was shown. Long story short, they were shortlisted, and I think 15 of them were taken through a master class. Tech experts, the Ghana Digital Centers Limited team worked with them to fine-tune their ideas. And the ideas ranged from solutions in commerce, in health, in environment, and in digital financial services, mobile money. And they fine-tuned their applications, were taught how to pitch to judges and all of that. We had judges, local and international, who listened to their pitches and shortlisted them to 3. And finally, Selassie Kumiduonu, Domikuonu, emerged the winner with a very innovative solution to help reduce mobile money fraud.
Wow.
And to help empower people, the illiterates, non-literates, physically challenged, are aged, to stop depending on third parties to either deposit or
transact on
Momo for them. And we know that many of our elderly folk, visually impaired, even hearing impaired, and non-literate folks would say, oh, koi nisikai mami, koi 10 cedis, mami, go take 10 cedis from my mobile money account for me. And they end up getting robbed. When they receive alerts too, they can't read it, and so they don't even know what has happened. But the only thing they realize is that their balance keeps dropping and nothing happens, and it fuels a lot of conflict. And so she presented a solution that will enable anyone to engage themselves using mobile money. And that won the competition, was adjudged the winning presentation, the winning solution. And the idea was to present her for Miss Geek Africa, because by then Smart Africa Alliance, which holds the Transform Africa Summit annually, had adopted Miss Geek as one of their programs to empower the girl child in the area of technology and see what kind of innovative ideas we can unearth if we give them a chance to also throw their hat in the ring. But COVID hit, and so the Transform Africa Summit was postponed till last year, when we met in Rwanda and Zimbabwe. Sorry, we met in Zimbabwe. Salasi is here. She'll tell you about her experience. It was a very exciting contest. We presented her as Ghana's nominee, and her solution as our entry in the competition. And there were entries from all the Transform Africa, Smart Africa Alliance countries, so over 20 or 30 entries. Very, very innovative solutions for mining, environment, farming, healthcare, across the spectrum. And her solution, which won in Ghana, was also adjudged the winning solution, because all countries have the same challenges, and this can solve the problem for her. And thankfully, one of our own companies who's a member of the Smart Africa Alliance. The Smart Africa Alliance has both corporate and states as members. And Ascend Digital is a member of Smart Africa Alliance. So is MTN, so is Huawei, and other companies. Ascend Digital pledged to support her to get her idea to market. And so we're still working on that. But we want to ensure that she also owns the intellectual property to her idea. It's her idea. So no matter who develops it and takes it to market, she has to own the intellectual property to it. Mobile money was developed by two Kenyans who worked with Safaricom. They never were able to benefit from it because the company helped them to develop it and is deriving the benefits from it. We want her to have the intellectual property rights to this idea as well. However, we need to work quickly because this is a solution that several experts are also looking at resolving. But the sooner you get your idea to market, you will get the benefit of that technology. And so who knows, from Ghana to the rest of Africa and the world.
About time.
Through Selassie.
Yes, and Selassie, it's good to have you here, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I think, has it been a year already? Yeah, it's been a year. I mean, help us remember exactly what was the inspiration? How did you come by this winning idea?
Thank you very much for the question, and very good morning. So this idea came about during 2019 when my dad and I were home. We always witnessed arguments and quarrels at a particular vendor point closer to our home. And this particular thing has been going on. It happens severally. So we had conversations separately with vendors and then with customers who come there to patronize the service, and we realized there was a gap. So the gap is illiterates or aged people coming there find it difficult going through the mobile money process. So they tend to give their phones to the vendor to go through the process for them, and then eventually they would have to give out their PIN, which we all know the mobile money PIN is supposed to be a secret code known to the user only.
True.
Yes, so that was where the idea came from. So instead of using the PIN, why don't you make it a voice recognition system for authentication, so that it will be easy for that old lady or that illiterate when the person gets to the vendor.
Now that's interesting. So you thought that and presented it. Of course, you won here in Ghana, and then you proceeded to Zimbabwe. Did you feel that you had a winning idea when you were on the plane going to Zimbabwe?
I felt I did have a winning idea, but I also knew that people were on their A game. Yeah, so everyone is coming with their A game. You would have to work hard, practice, do a lot of research to be able to win. So that is what I can say. Yeah, concerning this.
How does it feel to conquer Ghana and Africa?
You know,
it's exciting, it's fun, and it's challenging as well, because you have to keep doing research to keep yourself updated.
Okay.
Yes.
And so in terms of the development, I mean, beyond the idea and the exposure to tech, I mean, what else did you do to enable the process that's now gone into development? Like the idea, taking the idea from a thought to demonstrating how it could be achieved. How did you go about that?
So the Ghana Digital Centers with Accra Digital Center actually helped me with the coaching and then the creating of the prototype for the presentation. Yes, so that's where we've gotten to concerning the.
How did you feel when your name was announced? You know, that you were Miss Geek Africa 2023.
Oh, it was fun, and then it was also very surprising, because I actually saw a lot of people to be competitions, but trust me, it's God's grace. It's God's grace.
God's grace at work and your dedication, huh? That's what the grace there. God gives it every day. But it's what we do with it that matters.
Yeah.
And you've demonstrated that if you can dream it and work at it, you can achieve it. You know, I want you to talk to young people, especially young girls and women. You know, because the truth of the matter is that there is a divide. There is a gap. If you could walk into that room and leave a winner, there are thousands of other girls out there who could do so. Tell them how it's doable.
Okay, so I encourage all young ladies out there. There's a digital divide. That one is very true, and it's really, really a big gap. So to close that gap, we need to venture into IT courses, IT spaces, competitions like Miss Geek Ghana and eventually Miss Geek Africa. I want to empower all girls to take up tech courses, take up tech competitions, and then do a lot of research when it comes to the various projects they've picked. Then they can be successful, just like I did.
Well, that's I'm not going to be here trying to convince people. You heard it from the winner. It says if she can do it, you can do it too.
Yes, but I wanted to ask Selassie, you know, what was it that made you unafraid of the idea of going into IT and tech? presumably you had the scientific ability at school, but still the idea of coding, I mean, it's still very much kind of seen as a boy's business, kind of nerdy, geeky territory. So what was it that made you unafraid and willing to dive into the area?
Okay. So right from childhood, I've been around computers. My dad is into IT, so I've been around computers for a long time, and I really feel the interest grew from that particular point, right from childhood.
Right.
Yes, right.
And now that you've got this fantastic idea, obviously you'd like to see it out in the real world and being able to do something with your Casa Cash concept. Do you find that there are particular difficulties as a developer in Africa, whether a woman or a man, matching up with the finance to then actually begin to, you say you've done the prototype which allowed you to take it to competition, but then being able to turn it into like a commercial idea? Are there obvious places where developers, young up and coming developers like yourself, can call, funds that you can call on to tap into to work it up into a commercial idea?
Okay, so with the ministry is the one that took up the idea through the competition. So Ghana Tech Lab and then Accra Digital Center, those are the major places I mostly had my mentorship and my grooming, and as well the prototype. So I would say that is exactly where the most ladies, or let me say ladies who want to venture into tech, don't know how to go about it. I feel that's the ministry, and they should also take up Miss Geek Ghana competition, because that is the major stepping stone for me. That was a major stepping stone. So I want to encourage more girls to go into Miss Geek Ghana.
Fantastic. Well, Selassie. Well, there's a comment from Chumdako, who's watching on our Facebook streams. This is truly an inspiring story for our girls, and her achievement will be a feather in the cap of innovation and digitalization. Well done, young lady. And I believe this is just the beginning of many more awards to come. Keep at it.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the very best. Once you win, are you excluded from competing again?
Yes.
Oh, this will go to. Oh, that one we have to. No.
Pave the way for others to also.
Okay. Me, I was aiming for Hall of Fame. Until there's a new winner, we'll just keep it. I'm thinking about Ghana.
There may be other Selassies out there.
We have to find them.
We have to find them. And that's why we've launched Miss Geek 2024. And so any other young girls aged 13 to 21 who have any idea at all using technology to solve any of our contemporary challenges, and in any endeavor at all, you're not limited in your imagination, and look at the challenges around you and then throw in your idea. Like she said, experts will help you to develop the prototype, teach you how to pitch, and expand it from your idea to a viable product that we can also consider. So let's see how things go. And the competition is open. And so go to the MOC's, Ministry of Communication and Digitalization's website and other social media handles. And at least you'll be led through the process. And hopefully by the end of July, we can complete this, because we want to present the next Miss Geek Ghana at the Transform Africa Summit, Miss Geek Africa competition in August. And that's why we want to move through this process so that we can also compete and hopefully come back home with the crown again, back to back.
I like the sound of that, back to back. And then hopefully we can do it a third time, then we can say back to back to back. Yeah. Time check in the studio is 2 minutes past 9, and Selassie, we're thankful for joining us this morning to inspire us with your success, and we wish you all the very best as you continue to develop this solution. I can see how useful that would be. Those who would always ask others to help them transact mobile money business should become a thing of the past, and that will deal with the fraud that they're experiencing. Any final thoughts before you leave?
All right, before I leave, I'd like to say I'm working on training. I have about 20 young ladies I'm training.
Okay.
Yes, and I would like to plead if there's anyone who can help with sponsorship. Yes, when it comes to resources that we need
to be able to get them the training they need.
Yes.
Okay.
And finally, Tyler Wheeler once said that to get women in tech, you need to make the space favorable. And I believe that is what Ms. Geek is doing at the Africa level and Ghana level. So I encourage girls again to take up the competition, bring out ideas to solutions to problems in their communities, and then that will help them to get out there.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Those who bring solutions to problems are always rewarded. When David killed Goliath, he got tax amnesty and a wife. It's 4 minutes past 9. And we've just been talking to Miss Geek Ghana and Miss Geek Africa 2023, Selassie Domikuonu. We're going into another part of the conversation, and this time we'll be talking to the minister, the Oga at the top at Ministry of Communications and Digitalization, and also the chief servant of the people of the constituency called Ablekuma West, Madam Ursula Owusu-Ekuful. So recently, you announced at a briefing that Ghana is going 5G, and I don't even know, Nanaya, how to describe the aftermath. But yes, questions were asked, and we did try to find some answers, but nothing is more strong than hearing it from the one who's leading the charge. No, I have avoided that.
There was a brouhaha, but
there was a brouhaha, But I mean, if you've ever experienced 5G technology anywhere in the world, you'd appreciate why we need it. So the need is established. Please share with us what this next gen infraco arrangement is. I think that it will help us all better appreciate where we're heading, and hopefully quiet the noise a little.
I thought it had quieted down.
Okay.
Anyway, it's always good for an opportunity to clarify issues out there. So thanks for giving us this chance. You look at the telecoms ecosystem and decide on what to do to stimulate growth in the sector, encourage competition and more choice for subscribers, and ultimately more value for their money. Now, we looked at what had happened since the 4G auction.
Yeah.
And incidentally, when it was auctioned, there was only one bidder, because only one bidder could afford the price at which it was pegged.
Yeah.
And so one of the local companies bid and was awarded the 4G spectrum. That was 9 years ago. And so I think about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, Vodafone then also acquired 4G spectrum. And the idea is that between the two of them, they should have covered at least 50% of the population by now. They haven't. We only have 15% 4G penetration in the country so far, actual usage in the country so far. And so with this government's drive for establishing digital economy and digitalization, and the many innovations that we put in place, every Ghanaian in every part of this country has to be given the opportunity to also utilize these digital tools in whatever sphere of their endeavor. Because that's the only way in which we can grow our economy. And the research has shown that 10% broadband penetration leads to 1 to 2% GDP growth. So there's a direct correlation between the economy and connectivity. We are determined to extend high-speed broadband networks to at least 80% of the country within the next 3 years. How are you going to do that? If we look at the organic growth, it will be concentrated around the commercially viable centers, because all companies are in there for profit. True. And it is not in their interest to extend, and it's capital intensive. It's an expensive industry. So you need to invest to extend your networks to the parts of the country where you can get maximum benefit from it. So we've seen large pockets of our country left without connectivity. And so government has had to step in to build the infrastructure for a rural telephony network, which is a shared infrastructure. Government built the infrastructure. The networks are delivering their services over that infrastructure to parts of the country where they would not have gone. We're building 2016 sites. We've done half of it and connected about 600 of those sites so far. We're working to build and activate all 2016 by the end of September this year. Tall order, but it's doable. It is funding that had stalled this. This project was supposed to have been completed in 2022. COVID hit, then challenges with funding hit, with our domestic bilateral debt negotiations and all of that, which have stalled disbursements. But we've looked for alternative funding sources and are rolling it out. So, learning from those lessons, we decided that auctioning 5G was not the way to go. Now, even industry knowledge now, and the industry changes. There's a lot of talk now about digital public infrastructure. And so through public-private partnerships with governments providing incentives for the private sector to roll out networks across the country, because there's a direct push for connectivity to stimulate particularly growth on the African continent, judging by the wealth of innovators that we have who all need high-speed networks to get their products to market. So we've had extensive discussions and conversations and done extensive research in our local environment and came to the conclusion that auctioning spectrum was not the way to go, but setting up a shared infrastructure, just like we've done for rural telephony, is the way to stimulate growth in this sector in the country. And so the decision wasn't taken lightly. We've looked at all the alternatives and come to the conclusion that, like it or lump it, we have a monopoly situation in the telecom sector in this country. If the largest telecoms operator were to lose its network now, the entire country will be shut down. And if they have about 70% of the data market share, and a lot of us are transacting using the internet, and their network were to go down. It happened a couple of years ago, and there was uproar. It happened earlier this year, not their network, but when there was the general outage. I mean, nobody could do anything. And so it's important to build redundancy. It's important to provide an alternative. Now, if this large network were to go down, how would the others also pick up the slack? They are not in a position to. And so large parts of this country will go off air. And that would not just be dangerous for our economy, it would also pose security implications as well. So we've looked at all of that and took the decision that we will build a nationwide shared infrastructure for 4G and 5G. So all the networks can lease capacity from it. They will all be part of the consortium. building and managing that network. The government's contribution was to provide them with access to the spectrum that they need and not insist on upfront payment for the spectrum. That's also been a sticking point with the industry, it being capital intensive. They would much rather invest in rolling out the network and spreading the payment for the spectrum over time. That's been an ask from the industry for a very long time, globally, not just here. So we're not just talking, we're walking the talk and giving the industry what they have asked for a long time. And so provide them with flexible payment terms for the spectrum so they can invest their capital in rolling out the network within the shortest possible time. Give access to all existing operators, new entrants, tech entrepreneurs who need the infrastructure to get their ideas to market, mobile virtual network operators who can also be attracted to come into this country to provide different service offerings, niche, provide entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs, innovators with the opportunity to provide innovative solutions for specific industries utilizing the technologies available, all within the shortest possible time. And that's why we ended up with this next-gen infraco. People say it was formed 1 week before being granted the spectrum. Yes, it was registered at the Registrar General's Department a week before they were giving the spectrum. But who are its component elements? That's where the question is. Are they all novices in the industry or not? It's a special purpose vehicle. It would not exist before this approval was granted for it. And so it needed, once the approval was granted, then they could go to market and put the structure together to deliver what government wants done. I think it was on 27th May that the Memorandum of Understanding between the partners was signed in Mumbai, India. That's right. And it was big news in the industry globally, because it's the first time it's been done on the African continent. There's been a lot of talk about it, but for 5G to be launched using a shared infrastructure hasn't been done before. Right. And so there's a lot of interest, and people are looking at it to see how it fares. There have been experiments with shared infrastructure along the way. Some have succeeded, some have failed. But like I said, we've done a deep dive into the industry and taking the lessons from it to craft our own. Now someone has to take the lead in putting this consortium together. And once the shareholding agreements have been finalized, they will be registered with the Registrar General's Department. When the president said it, he meant it. So with all this negative noise which greeted the announcement, but there's been we've received a lot of congratulatory messages as well for this bold initiative, and it is a bold initiative.
Indeed. I mean, if you're hoping to provide coverage, at the moment you're at about 30% of 5G
if you can
coverage.
move to 80% within 3 years, that's major.
Yeah.
You're connecting the entire country. People can work remotely anywhere in the country utilizing this network. You don't have to come to Accra, Kumasi, or Takrady. So whether your road is good or bad, you can still transact using this high-speed network. Now, what's the advantage we have in our country is that we do have existing infrastructure that we're going to utilize for the rollout. Okay. So it's not an entirely greenfield operation, you know. And so all the partners are bringing something to the table. I mentioned the rural telephony network. People are knocking Ascend Digital as if they've never done anything in the industry. when the Chinese contractors, they are subcontractors to the Chinese contractors working on the rural telephony network. When the Chinese suspended work because they hadn't been paid and left, they are the ones who have been operating and maintaining the system and keeping it up and going, providing connectivity to the unserved and underserved parts of the country. They are the ones who are committed to using their own resources to rolling out this network, hoping that at some stage we'll pay them. They have sustained this rural telephony network. So they have the experience of building, operating, and managing a shared network, a rural telephony network. And that's why they were chosen. They're the only ones who've done so. And so for us, they're key partners in this. KNet. Every TV broadcast is now being carried on the DTT platform, which is financed by the government of Ghana, but is utilized by broadcasters in this country. So you turn on your TV anywhere in this country. You're watching TV courtesy of KNet, which has built this shared digital infrastructure, which we're all using. So they also have experience in that, in the building and managing and operating of shared digital infrastructure. So we spoke to them and said, can you take the lead in putting this consortium together? And they've been working tirelessly for the past 2-3 years and I've spoken to all the telco majors in the world. And we've finally been able to get the largest telecoms company in the world to be interested in a small country like Ghana. They have 477 million subscribers. Yes.
Wow.
And they were set up 8 years ago. Their 8th anniversary is in September this year. By then, they hope to have hit the 500 million subscriber mark. It's mind-boggling. And we've got them interested in coming to Ghana. Our total subscriber base currently is hovering around 20 million, less than that of one city in India. They are interested, but they see Ghana as the gateway to the continent. We are the black star. We try innovative ideas. We do things differently, hoping to get different results. They were intrigued by the concept and said, okay, we'll partner you and work with you in this venture, and we'll give you the entire network. We will help you to build a network. We've got Nokia and Tech Mahindra interested in also giving us cutting-edge infrastructure, open RAN, open radio access network. I'm not sure any company in this country utilizes this network. It's scalable. So you build it up as your capacity grows, and you don't have to put all your resources into building, over-provisioning a network when you don't have that much capacity. You have Nokia interested in partnering us in this. They are not just assisting us with the technology and the networks. They are assisting us with the know-how, the business intelligence, which enabled an 8-year-old company to be the largest telecoms company in the world. We need to leapfrog. It's not just talk. We need to do things differently. We need to take bold, innovative decisions. We need to think outside the box. So when I hear talk that you should have auctioned it, seriously? With the lessons we've learned from 4G, you want us to go down the same road? How then will we grow this country? Trust me, I had significant opposition from even within the government, because there were entities that also, particularly within, and I'll say the finance ministry, they wanted the money up front to balance their budgets. But I also told them that let's grow the sector. You will get even more money from the sector.
Of course,
and just selling the family jewels and chopping the money, and then not caring what happens to the industry after the money is gone.
So I'm sure in the end they saw the direct correlation in deepening connectivity.
Absolutely.
On GDP.
on the economic growth of the country.
Well, because there's several applications for 5G technology. I mean, everything from health, smart traffic management,
Smart cities,
security, commerce, education, you name it.
our ports, the mining sector, the oil industry. Everybody is clamoring for high-speed data connectivity to do so much more with it. It opens up our country. It encourages the establishment of more data centers here. It can make Ghana the hub, which is what we want. Let's be the Switzerland of Africa. Small, lean, mean machine, prospering quietly
At the center of the world.
at the center of the world. We can do it. It is possible. I'm excited at the prospects. So when I hear all this negativity, I said, okay, maybe they don't understand why we're doing this. So it's important to explain it so we understand it. But we are going to do it. And I'm breathing down their necks that with all this flack that I'm getting, you better make this thing work. September, we're launching 5G in this country.
All right, you heard it here. In September, we're launching 5G in Ghana. We have about 30% of the infrastructure already laid out, and the rest should be concluded in the next few months. What will be the impact of 5G technology on government services, for example?
Not just government services. With enhanced connectivity and innovation, you provide reliable high-speed internet across the country, and we'll bridge the digital divide with affordable devices. And Radisys is also going, Reliance Jio is also going to provide us with affordable smartphones as well for the use of all the network operators in this country. Imagine a $20 smartphone. You can buy it for all your relatives across the in your village.
Now I can buy a phone for someone on their birthday and not worry about what to eat after.
Imagine that, and what that would do to transforming usage. There's a usage gap, even where there's connectivity.
True.
Because of the cost of devices. People are not using it as much. We're working to bring down the cost of devices in this country. And yes, we're going to put in place the Central Equipment Identity Registry as well. Phone thefts are on the rise. I mean, I'm doing my rounds in my constituency, and that's one of the biggest security challenges that we have. So we'll set up the registry. Nobody needs to line up to go register their devices. Every device has a unique ID number, which your network provider sees when you log on, you turn on your phone. So they all have equipment identity registers. We're setting up a centralized one, so that if your device is lost or stolen and you report it to the registry, it's blocked for use in the country. So nobody can steal your phone or discover your phone if you lose it and just unlock it and use it on any network. It will be blocked on all networks in this country, and we hope that will reduce the incentive for people to steal devices in this country. And we will be doing that, rolling that out shortly. With affordable devices too, people can utilize it for all manner of things. It promotes innovation and efficiency. So companies can leverage platforms, machine-to-machine communications, enhance performance and efficiency. It provides more opportunities for youth and businesses. Innovators like Selassie can dream even bigger because they know that they would have the infrastructure to deliver their ideas to market. So young entrepreneurs can develop micro enterprises in health, app development, fintech. Gaming is huge
that's
globally. We need to develop the gaming industry in Ghana too. They need high-speed connectivity to be part of that as well. It will enable businesses to innovate, optimize processes, and compete globally. It will enable government services to be available to anyone, anywhere in this country, because the infrastructure is there, and help sustainable development as well. We're also using green technology solar-powered cell sites. In the rural telephony project, we're building 2016 sites. About 800 of those are solar-powered. So we're experimenting with that, and then it's working. So we're going to tell all the telcos and tower companies that go green. At least some part of your infrastructure should be green. Every part of our country can develop. One lesson that we've learned from this rural telephony project is that sometimes we provision capacity thinking that not many people there will use it. The reality is that as soon as the network goes live, the capacity goes through the roof. And so you need to work to expand the capacity. Once it's there, they will use it. They are not topping up in hundreds of thousands, but the 10 cities, 5 cities, 1 city, it adds up. So we're seeing immense growth in the usage of these networks wherever it's turned on. So the economic potential of this infrastructure is huge. Like I said, smart cities, smart solutions can be developed. And it makes Ghana also more competitive globally. Infrastructure is key in your competitiveness. What is the state in which your infrastructure is? If companies locate here, what assets do they have that they can utilize? Now, if we have the best network in the sub-region or on the continent, global digital companies, tech companies can come here quite comfortably, knowing that the infrastructure is in place for them to reach their service providers or their customers across the world. Ghana can be, we're building one of the largest data centers too at the Trade Fair site. And that's a $300 million investment from the US. Can you imagine the Amazons and others setting up logistics centers in Ghana and using this to reach the rest of the world? The opportunities are endless. So please, we're not just doing things for doing sake. We have a plan. Dr. Baumia is determined to make Ghana the digital black star. And we're working to give effect to that. And connectivity is the foundation that will make that happen.
Fantastic stuff. If you just tuned in, it's 9:30. This is the Asaase Breakfast Show. We're talking to Madame Ursula Owusu-Ekuful. She's the Minister for Communications and Digitalization and Member of Parliament for Ablekuma West. A couple of comments, actually more than a couple. Very
I'm here. Hit me
very, these are all good messages. Very brilliant woman, and that's from Kakraba Blankson. But Chumdaka says, hello, Insha. Please tell Mrs. Ursula Owusu-Ekuful, is Ekuful with an E, not A, that she should be resolute and stand her grounds for her decision regarding the 5G service and shouldn't be intimidated by the ugly noise. I know she's a tough woman and will see this through successfully. The all-knowing think tanks should swallow their inordinate pride and accept for once that this is a good decision. He goes on to say, on a lighter note, what has she done to Imani Africa?
Sometimes I wonder.
Oh, Chumdako. Some people just can't help mischieful. A bit like Nanaya. One of the best performing appointees of the government. Kudos to you, Ursula Owusu-Ekuful, for the wonderful job thus far. I want to talk to you about something else.
Okay.
My branding technology, Kasana. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about you for a bit.
That one, you need time.
Oh yes, we'll do that one. We need time. We'll schedule that time and talk to you about you. But you're, I saw somewhere that you're launching a foundation.
Yeah.
The Ursula Foundation in a few days.
Yes. That's important.
What inspired this phase of your life?
You know, we interact with a lot of young people. And I believe in finding solutions to problems and not complaining about them. We can always rehash and talk about problems ad nauseum, but what can you do where you are, using the small opportunities that you have to solve small problems, one person at a time. We can't solve all the problems of the world, but you can make a difference in one person's life. There's a lot of unemployment in this country. Government cannot provide jobs for everybody. And we have to think about what we can do in our own little space to also give people, young people particularly, the digital skills that they need, the vocational skills that they need for those who are interested in going into that space, and to even encourage people to stop look beyond the traditional blue-collar government work and to see what they can do themselves. It is small businesses that will transform our country. It is the small entrepreneurs that will grow our economy. How can we start putting them on the path to entrepreneurship? And so I thought that let's set up the Ursula Foundation and start implementing a program that we call the U Push. Give them a hand up. Okay. And so we're going to be providing digital skills. We're going to be providing vocational skills, entrepreneurial skills, business development advice. We're going to be giving startup capital and looking at the areas in which people have an interest and seeing how we can develop them. I spoke about gaming. Esports will be something that we'll be looking into. Apparently there's a thriving esports community here. Not just the sports betting. That one is not where I'm going.
There's proper esports gaming.
There's esports gaming.
There's a league, a federation. And
and I want to encourage them, support them, see how we can grow sports enthusiasts there and make money out of that. Gaming, can we give our people the opportunity to learn how to create their own games, market them, and get those to market, and see how we can also carve a niche for ourselves in there. Vocational skills. Some people need as little as 200 Ghana cedis to start selling oranges or eggs. Where can they go for that assistance? Some need a lot of money, but some need very little. So what can we do to provide them with small micro facilities to also get them off their feet? And you've looked at what's being done to the Kayayi, and I'm like, what can't we do replicating this in parts of the country? From headquarters, they're being given skills to develop their own detergents, baking, fashion, bead making, all kinds of things that they can, in their own small, with a little startup capital, set up their own small business anywhere in the country and fend for themselves without being dependent on government or anyone else. That's the idea behind the Ursula Foundation. We don't have any money, but we have a lot of ideas.
And Vim.
Oh, and Vim. And we know that we will make it work. And so there'll be a fundraiser as well. It's being launched on Saturday at 11 near the St. Augustine's Anglican Church at Sahara. Okay. It will be signposted, so it's easy to find. I have the digital address somewhere. Let me put it out. When we started the digital property address system, these same people kicked against it too. Everything we've tried to do, they've condemned. And like Akufo-Addo says, they say I can't do it, and I do it. But they won't eat humble pie and admit that, okay, we may have got it wrong. I'm sorry, I don't want to.
You don't want to mislead us.
I don't want to cause any
error.
disaffection and attacks this morning.
Right.
What is this thing I'm looking for?
So
okay. Digital address GA538 3862.
That's the one.
GA538 3862. Will lead you straight there. And so please come and help us. Give hope to our young people. Focus is youth empowerment and women's empowerment. Okay. I keep saying that Emma Asumjo Nefiajo. How do you translate that?
When the ears of the woman is soft, the house is happy.
Yes. Precisely.
That's what you'll get out of me. But to wait, Danaya.
When the minds of women are at rest in the house, the whole house is at rest.
Fantastic.
And
See?
in peace.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okachisco.
Wabi.
But
You
more
know?
comments.
So giving them a hand up and enabling them to also do stuff on their own. So we will be open to receive applications from all over. I want to help. Charity begins at home. So Ablekuma West, young people, come and let's see what we can do together. But it's not limited to the constituency alone. The need is everywhere, and whatever we can do to support any young budding entrepreneur to get a startup, a hand up in life, we'll do it. And we're looking to partnering funding organizations out. They will be writing proposals. We've already got requests for partnership. There's a vocational training institution in my constituency, New Century, is one of the best. They've already sent a proposal that they would want to partner us to train young people and give them certification in all manner of things. They even teach them leather wear. So from bags to shoes to sandals and all of that. Installing CCTVs and satellites, bead making, baking and all of that. They're willing to help train the young people. The Ghana Code Club is willing to work with us to give them coding skills. So we want to develop programmers and those who develop applications and games and all of that. We want to grow that space as well. Give the young people digital skills. They need it today. It will equip them for the global world of work. So from Ablekuma West to the rest of the world. Yes.
Well, it's always a great joy talking to you, Madam Ursula Owusu-Ekuful, MP for Ablekuma West and the Minister of Communications and Digitalization. Two final comments. Actually, Besiaba Abamansa says you're doing a good job, Honorable. And you're getting some plaudits from somebody whose name sounds like the Pope. His Holiness Benedict Owusu.
Oh, yeah.
The 16th. Says, tell Honorable that she has my respect, love, and admiration for her bold stance, even to fight folks at the Finance Ministry regarding 5G migration approach. It is the best decision for Ghana because we messed up our 4G LTE migration approach in 2012. Further comments. This is another great initiative by the Queen of Digitalization. Most traders, our mothers, only require small cash as startups to support their trade. And I believe this worthy cause will go a long way to impact many lives and families. That would be our hope as well. Thank you for making time to join us this Thursday morning. Thursday. We're grateful. We're grateful for your time. Final words?
Oh, I'm looking forward to being here in the studio again with you. And I pray that as many people as can support the foundation will join us on Saturday and beyond. Saturday is just the launch. The real work begins after that. A lot of young people have helped me put this together, and I'm really, really grateful for all those who supported us this far. I'm looking forward to working with even more partners to make this happen. So if you have an idea that will enrich this initiative, please come and let's talk. If you have some small funds that you want to invest in a life in this country, we will utilize up to about 80%, 90% of the resources that we receive in the people and not in administrative costs. We have a team of volunteers who are also signing up to help us do the outreach and to help us do the training. You're almost welcome. Nyanse ni obako for trim. So let's Jojo and see how we can make this even better. And quite a few of my colleagues in Parliament and elsewhere are also hoping to replicate this in their constituencies as well. So it's like shining the light wherever you are, and together we can make this country work. It doesn't all have to be done by government. All of us as individuals can give something back. For me, it's my way of giving back to the community that nurtured me and made me who I am. And so I'm grateful to Dansoman and all the residents of Ablekuma West, because they contributed to making me me. And to all the friends of my parents who gave me knocks growing up and spanked me when I was being naughty and all of that. Thank you. Discipline is good. Young people of today don't like being disciplined, but it is good. It helps reset.
And point the needle in the right direction. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you too for this
we've had a wonderful
opportunity. And Miss
conversation.
Geek, please, 13 to 21-year-olds should sign up.
Yeah, go to
And
the
let's see
MOC
where that
site.
will lead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And this is still the Asaase Breakfast Show. We're going to take a short musical break. When we come back, we'll go into our final conversation.